What's going on, Capricorn? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal month so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Cap, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. And let me tell you why, Cap, because it is Celestial News Monday. It's like my favorite time of the month, Capricorn, and this one in particular, I'm super pumped, but we'll get into that in a second. Because when with this monthly spread, when the sun enters a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are at and how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Cap. So I have some oracle cards here with all the zodiac signs that the planets are in. We're going to talk about, I'm going to pull an oracle card from this deck for each of them, and then we'll get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? Thank you. And in case if you all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching as well, so definitely go check them out, show them some love there, Cap. But let's talk about Cancer season. If you don't understand why I'm so pumped, my sun sign's in Cancer. So if you thought I was bringing big energy before, it's about to be lit. But let's get into this energy, because you got the sun that's entering Cancer, and then you have Mercury following him a few days later. But the sun is going to enter on the 21st of June at about 9:58 a.m., and that's going to be Central Time. And then we'll be there through the 22nd of July. And with this, Capricorn, we're bringing in the summertime. It's the summer solstice. So depending on where you're at, either we're getting a whole bunch of sunlight or we're not getting any at all. And that's fine there. But where I'm at, we're getting a lot of sun over here. So hopefully you've been able to get out, enjoy yourself, enjoy this weather. But when you think about the sun, you know, the sun is also shining light on things. And with Cancer, be your opposite sign of the zodiac, on the zodiac wheel, is a very emotional sign. You know, we feel to such a degree, and it ranges the gamut with our ruler being the moon. This is a great energy for tuning into your emotions and really tuning in, Capricorn. And if there are any ones in particular that we're noticing that we're having troubles processing, whether this be maybe anger, maybe this is sadness, maybe this is fear, maybe whatever this could possibly be, you know, face those, be present with those energies. And Cancer, being the mothers of the zodiac, you know, we're the nurturers. Be sure to nurture that stuff, you know, as it makes sense, you know, like, and show yourself some compassion when we're going through these, like when we're feeling these emotions. Because sometimes when we're facing those kind of more darker aspects of ourselves, you know, there can be a reluctance there, or a disgust, or things along those lines. But they all share a piece in the grand puzzle that is you, Capricorn. And we got to make sure that we're allowing them those emotions, that space to be felt and to be heard. And they can become some very powerful ambassadors in your life there, Capricorn, when we learn to integrate those things. But also, this is great energy for focusing on those close relationships, because Cancer is associated with the 4th house, which deals with like family, the home space, you know, ancestry, things along those lines. So been about strengthening maybe those like forming that emotional security in maybe our existing relationships. Or if we're noticing there's any kind of dissonance in some of our other ones, you know, maybe we're setting up some boundaries, or at least having a conversation to find if we can maybe get to a place of more harmony. And that's going to be nice too when we couple that with Mercury entering Cancer on the 26th of June, and we'll be there through the 10th of July. And with this energy, this is great for strengthening the bonds with yourself and with others. It's very kind of, the archetype that it's giving me is very kind of strong, like kind of King of Cups vibes, where it's like bringing that, and then Queen of Cups as well, you know, bringing that mind and heart together, with Mercury being the planet of how we think, communication, our learning, things along those lines. But also, this allows you to think about things on a deeper level and have a greater ability to process and express your feelings. So if there are any kind of conversations that we've been wanting to have, or maybe there are some things that we want to express, you know, we are getting into, you know, we're in Leo season right now. The Empress is going to be in Leo for Venus is going to be in Leo for a little while. And so this could be something too, where we're maybe taking that next step, you know, maybe talking to that special someone if we had our eye on someone. So just something to think about there, Capricorn. But also, depending on where your Capricorn placements are at, these planets are going to be forming oppositions with your signs. And when we get into opposition energy, oppositions they bring about polarity, they bring tension. It's very, very challenging and conflicting energy. It's going to either be where a situation or a person is going to force you into making a decision, not force you, but there's going to be some decisions that are probably going to need to be made here over this next Cancer season. And it may feel kind of tense at first, and we may be uncertain where things are going, but if we can work with these energies, you know, figure out, you know, really tune into the emotions and figure out where your intuition is guiding you as far as like when we're making these decisions. It can be very rewarding in the long run if we can integrate those opposite energies. Because I'm always telling Cancer all the time on my other channel too, how we can learn a lot from Capricorn, you know, with how principled you are and how structured, how patient you are, and how ambitious you can be. So just something to think about there, Capricorn. Ooh, alrighty, I like that. So for your first card here, we got the second card of Virgo, which is the coin toss card. And with this card, when we just talked about that, this is a card of choices. Either or, be fair, considering pros and cons, fate, equal, two sides to every story, butterfly effect, either way, 50-50 chance, unpredictable, can't decide, and take a chance. And I feel like the thing that's sticking out to me first, Capricorn, is the unpredictability of life, you know, because sometimes where I feel like, example, with this opposition energy that I feel that's going to be coming up, you know, we may not be sure how these things are going to translate, but it is realizing that where life may throw us curveballs, we may not be able to control how the situation has come about, but we can control how we're feeling about this situation. And then that can be a strong indicator of how we can, what next steps that we need to take, because then we're thinking from a more proactive energy than from reactive. Because and listen, that's not to say when these situations happen that we don't feel some kind of way at first. If anything, no, we have to feel this stuff first to really kind of process this thing. So I feel like it's going to be especially important for you, Capricorn, over this season here. And you know, it's something, even when the energies leave, you know, we can still learn from them. The energies just don't stop once they move out of the signs. Take what you learn from this Cancer season and pay attention to how you respond to situations, you know, because I feel like the nice thing about however things go down and however you react, either way, growth is going to happen, you know, and that's the beauty of it. Because when we get because when you think about Virgo energy, you know what, we're going to switch this around a little bit since we're talking all this Virgo energy. But when we think about Virgo energy, you know, one of their things is about their a sign of like routines. And I feel like when we can make a routine of really kind of being present when we're in this like crossroads or choices or things along those lines, and it feels like that there's this pressure and we can't decide or something along those lines, it's realizing that this is all, I feel like, don't be afraid of the uncertain, you know what I mean? I feel like this is something where trust that whatever decision you make, that higher self is always going to be guiding you, you know what I mean? But it's one of those things that's just like, there is there is a sense of free will in this. If it was just always just divine intervention, then it would just be, we'd be just kind of like bots. So it's, and that's something too, this could be something where if we get to a place where we've considered the pros and cons and we're still maybe kind of sitting on the fence here, this could be something too, maybe even just like reaching out to someone, maybe getting a second opinion. But I feel that a choice is going to need to be made regardless. Now, because if we choose to just like ignore it and do nothing, we're sure that's a choice, to do nothing, but it's just like, then that's what's going to come from that, is nothing. You know what I mean? And eventually, you can only avoid, not making a choice for so long, because if we, I feel like higher self likes to keep tower moments more kind of in-house, but if we avoid things, then eventually the energies start getting external, and then that's where the oppositions really start getting to work, you know what I mean? But let's get some tarot on this. All right, let's see what we got here, Cap. Ha! Oh, that's really cool. I'm with that, Capricorn. Oh man, here's you, and here's Cancer. You got the Queen of Cups in reverse here, and then you got you, the Devil. I like that, Capricorn. I feel like with the Devil popping up here, let's talk about you. I feel like that with this energy here, because the Devil has a very unorthodox way of teaching us a growth. You know what I mean? He can be the type that he can be the type that will throw unpredictable, if there's something that we've been particularly wanting to work on, let's say like with this Cancer season, let's say if anger was one that we were having troubles dealing with, let's start there. The Devil is the type that will be like, when he pops up, it's like, oh, Capricorn, I see you've been doing well. I see you've been working on this reflection here. But hey, how do you feel about this situation right here? I know you've been doing great. You're looking good, buddy, but here's a hurdle for you. And it's just like, how are we feeling about that? It could be like maybe where we maybe like a good, okay. So an example. I've been having some recording issues the last couple days, and I'm realizing that I'm going to need to change apps here soon. And I had a couple of videos in particular, a few actually, over the last couple of days that I'll be well into them, and then it just crashes. And the first time that happened, I lost it. Like it was just heat all over the place, and it exacerbated the problem, and then eventually kind of came down, reflected a little bit. It was with the energy, because it was like, I could keep feeling this way, but recording still got to get done. So this is, I feel like, a strong indicator of the choices. It's just like when we get swept up in things. And when we get swept up in things, it's just like we can either choose to focus on the suck of the things and not move, or we can try to find the advantage out of this. Because the Devil in reverse is dope, because that's us getting over these things that we thought had more control over us than really they do. You know what I mean? Because Capricorn, you were one of the videos that actually I was well into it, and then there was no way for me to recover it. So I was just like, and the funny thing was, I was actually, which I'm hoping that this doesn't happen again. But I was talking about this situation exactly, like, and then it went ahead and did it for me. It was almost like the devil was testing me there. And keep in mind, I don't have any strong Capricorn placements. I have Capricorn and Uranus and Neptune, and that's a generational aspect. But these energies, I feel like when it comes to life and choices and things, there are two sides to every story. It's either the suck or the growth. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where this energy is kind of leading us there. But let me get a little bit more on this, a little more on you here. Thank you. Yep. Okay, so the devil is clarified by the Seven of Pentacles and the King of Wands upright. And I feel like that when these situations pop up here, it's just being mindful of where you're investing your energies there, Capricorn. And we could either let this throw us out of balance and, you know, really just keep us in a place of because Cancer, because they're a sign that's rooted in the past, you know, dealing with ancestry and things, it can be tough for us sometimes. We can get kind of stuck in that loop sometimes, get lost in that ocean. But it's not, we could either stay there or we can pause for a second, be with the energy, because you got to feel it to heal it, Capricorn. We can try to push through this thing, and that can work for a spell, you know, because I do feel like I'll talk with Cancers about, you know, how you're, you know, you're the type, you're the go-getters, you know, you're going to do what it takes to get it done. But it's just like, are we doing that to our detriment? You know, we want to pay attention to that and allowing yourself to feel this stuff. But when we do, that helps us get back to present, you know what I mean? And then get a game plan on how we're going to grow from this, because the King of Wands is Sagittarius energy. He rules the first two decans of Sagittarius and the last of Scorpios. And Scorpio energy, another water energy, they're going to get down to the root of things. Where Cancer feels to a depth and feels a lot, Scorpio can go deeper. You know what I mean? They may not feel as much as we do as often, but they feel it. When they feel intensely. And I do feel like it's like finding the source of, if we find that, yeah, just like it feels like that life or that fate seems to throw us just these chances. I'm not quite sure, Capricorn. It's very interesting here, but know that there is a level of control that you do have. You know what I mean? It's not just, everything is not just happening to you. I feel like it's more so, it really is happening for you. And now for some others, just with the take a chance here, if we're considering something, you know, if we're considering like maybe we have this idea, maybe we want to start up a business, or just because you got you here, or maybe we're thinking about maybe we want to start a family with Cancer, or maybe we want to go do some learning with I'm just kind of spitballing here, but the energies, I feel like the energies here are saying that with this take a chance, if we've been kind of weighing our choices as far as like, do I do this? Do I do that? Like, should I invest in this thing? I feel like don't try not to overthink it, you know, find that balance. You know, if you've thought about all the stuff, all the options here, the next question is, how do we feel about it? Do you feel that it's going to provide you value or raise your vibration in the long run? You know, is it really speaking to you? Trust that intuition, Capricorn. And I feel like when you do tap into that stuff, trust that internal guidance system. Trust you. I mean, you came out here real strong. Trust you. When you do, I feel like that you can't go wrong with your investments. You know, sure, we can, and that's something too. When we're weighing these options, make sure we are being balanced with weighing the pros and the cons, because sometimes we can get so caught up on one side of the story, like the cons and things, and figuring out all the ways that it can go wrong, that can keep us from making that first step. But it's just like, okay, you mapped out all the stuff that's going wrong, and this is going to be perfect with this Virgo energy next. But we've mapped out the things that have gone wrong. Now, how can this thing go right? You know, and I mean, like, not even just in like the little ways, you know, think big, go as big as you did for the cons. You know what I mean? Find a balance, but I'm with it. Strong start here, Capricorn. Now let's talk about this Virgo energy and why I'm so excited for you to do it in this energy. Because Mars is going to be entering Virgo. And little sidebar here. Mars rules over Aries and Scorpio, but is exalted in your sign. So outside, when he's not chilling in one of his two homes there, he loves kicking it with you because he knows that you're gonna get stuff done, and that's what Mars is about. That's what Mars energy loves. But I feel like that's really working well with this Virgo energy because he's going to be entering Virgo on the 10th of July and will be there through the 27th of August. And this is very efficient energy for Mars, being the planet of energy, passion, our drive and things. In Virgo, they are very meticulous, very detail-oriented, analytical. They're Mercury ruled, very smart, very organized. And so this can be great for if we've been thinking about some kind of investment or been wanting to take a chance and get something started here. This is going to be spectacular energy for you, Capricorn, to get any of those any of those things done. And this also is great energy because Virgo is associated with the 6th house that can deal with our health and things along those lines. Great for focusing on that as well, whether that be physical, mental, or spiritual, however that's looking. Oh, I thought my thing shut down again. I was about to, we were about to go in. But yeah, it could be, spiritual, mental, or physical. But something to be mindful of is being overly critical, because that's one on the lower vibration. That could be a tendency for Virgos to have, just because they're wanting things to be, they're purifying stuff, they're considered like the perfectionists. But yeah, we just want to be careful about being overly critical. And the really fantastic thing about this energy, Capricorn, we're going to switch this stuff too, because this is kind of what I did for this, this is what I did for the last one. So roughly. But the nice thing about this energy as well is that this is, depending on where your Capricorn placements are at, this is going to be forming a trine with your sign. And trines are the most fortunate aspect because they're clearing out all hurdles, all out your way. They make the energy flow smooth. This is like when the energy is hot right now. And it's very harmonious, very lucky. So pay attention to opportunities. It's like the flow is just really easy, and this allows you to really tap into your natural talents and really just make the most of the stuff here. With both of these energies here, this can be a very, very abundant time for you here, Capricorn. But let's go ahead and get let's get an oracle on this. Nice. So you got the 7th card of Libras here, which is the biker card. And with this card, this is a card of lone wolf style, impervious, nonconformist, standing up, breaking the rules, brotherhood, enjoy the ride, it loves freedom, moving on, outlaw, maverick, swift actions, and need for speed. Interesting, and I got a real jolt with that maverick, and I feel like that for some of you, if you've been thinking about cooking up something here, Capricorn, or you've been wanting to invest in an idea, absolutely, this is a time for us to really start thinking outside of the box, breaking the rules, within reason, but being innovative, and because sure, Pluto is in your sign right now, but Pluto's in your sign right now, but we'll be moving into Aquarius around Aquarius season, next year. And we're in an age of innovation and of newness and things, and really kind of doing stuff like the non-conventional way, you know what I mean? So if you've got something, I've been telling people the craziest ideas are the ones that are not being implemented, and if you don't feel like these ideas make sense for you, write them down anyway. And because who knows, maybe you might be out on your bike going for a ride, you had to make a pit stop at a restaurant, you get to talking with someone, maybe your waiter, maybe who knows, I don't know where you're at, but get to talking to someone, pick to talk about this idea. Next thing you know, you're collaborating because they have the skills that you're working for, and you're networking, you're building the soul tribe. Is fantastic there, Capricorn. But I do feel like it's taking that chance, you know, because sometimes when you think about Libra energy as well, they can be a little indecisive on the lower end because they've weighed all their options, and sometimes that can be too overwhelming, all the stuff that's happening, so they just choose to do nothing. And it's just like, I mean, I get that, but it's just that we want to be mindful of that. You know, we want to enjoy this journey, you know, take some risk, you know, and trust that. I like that impervious there. You know, trust that higher self has got your back, you know, especially when we're following our dreams here, trusting that intuition, our feelings, our gut. I feel like this could be very beneficial for you. But another thing that's standing out is the lone wolf style. And it almost feels with this, I feel like that maybe for some of us, we've been trying to wait on others to get things started. And I feel like that if this group or person, or maybe this is like a partner or something along those lines, if we feel that people aren't quite ready to get this thing off the ground, let's say if this is like a project or a business or something, for example, it's just like, I feel like, why wait on them? Let's figure out what we can maybe get started right now, so that maybe we're not, so that way it's just like at least the energies are starting to get moving, because who knows, maybe these people aren't meant to work with you right now, just as an example. And you know, maybe this is something you go to put your stuff out there, and then we meet some others along the way, they build off on that, and then maybe these others that we were waiting on, they've had a chance to do their stuff, and things fall into place here. But yeah, I feel like there's something like, it's really just about like just, you know, taking action and giving this thing a chance, seeing where this stuff is going. But let's get some tarot on this. All right, Capricorn. Let's see what we got here. Alrighty, so we have the Seven of Wands, the Five of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and then the Two of Cups, and they're all up right here. And I almost feel like for some of you, that maybe we might be nervous about starting, maybe making a choice, or maybe getting things started just because we've had some disappointments in the past, or maybe maybe we like tried something and maybe this failed, and the thing, if that's something that's resonating with you, you know, it's like, I feel like that maybe some of us, we like poured a lot of energy into this thing possibly, and now we're in this place of, yeah, it feels like almost this place of just like doubt, or just like a little kind of apprehensive, in which I do understand that. But the thing is, I feel like, especially when we think about failures and stuff, it's just like, those are beautiful moments for reflection, because we could either focus on the fact that it just like that investment didn't quite work out, but it's just like, why didn't it work out? Then this gives you a chance to be a little more inquisitive, you know, really kind of do that soul searching, start to put in that shadow work, where it's just like, what could I have done better for these energies to flow? Was it just the time that I was starting it up? Was it because we were waiting on other people to get started? Maybe I could have did this, gotten things going. Like we were saying, there's two sides to every story, the failures and the lesson and the growth, you know, the heart, you know what I mean? So I feel like for some of us, try not to let the energies from the past, or, you know, like this stuff, keep us from making any decisions in the future, or to prevent us from making decisions in the future, really. Because I get it, where, especially if this was something maybe we poured a lot of our energy into, and we're just like thinking like, man, I can't deal with that burden again. But I feel that, one, really, I just think with where the energies are at, Capricorn, this is a prime time to really get stuff started. And even once, it's not to say when these planets move out of this energy that it stops. It's just, it's going to be hot around that time. So it's just really thinking about, like, you know, because maybe the reason that this thing didn't take off, for example, if this was a business, maybe it was meant for you. It might have not been, it was the business that was the failure. Maybe it was the passion, you know, maybe it was the drive. You know, where was your focus at? You know, were we focused on just getting the pentacles, or were we focused on, did we have some heart in it as well? You know, was this like a passion of yours? And because this could be even something too where maybe we've, or let me put this way. It feels too that maybe some of us may be a little nervous about taking the step and like kind of stepping outside of the box and things, because maybe we're worried about other people's opinions of us, possibly, you know, with the Seven of Wands here. Maybe this is something, or this could even be just your criticisms as well. Just like, there's no way that I could accomplish this thing, or maybe this stuff is too grand, it's going to take too much work or something along those lines. But again, I feel like it's just like it's changing the narrative as far as like how we're going about this, because that's lack of self-esteem and stuff. That's devil territory too. And it's just like those doubts is just like, well, are you going to believe? Are you going to let that keep you defeated, or are you going to bring it? Are you going to bring more energy? Because I feel like too, when we are aligned, when things feel aligned, you know, because I feel like there was a reason that whatever this disappointment was, it happened for a reason. And it's made you wiser, but it's just feeling out how we can apply that to the next thing that we're going on. Let me get a little more. Let me get a little more on this Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is clarified by the Three of Wands in reverse here. And I feel like with the Three of Wands here, I feel like that if this is something that we're wanting to try, and again, whatever this thing is that you want to start off here, this thing that we're just debating about, I do feel that this energy is saying that do we want to Can I get one more? Okay. All right, so you got the Ace of Wands in reverse here. If this is okay, thank you. I feel that if this is something where if you're sitting on this idea, or sitting on this feeling that you want to start something up, or you want to take this chance, but we're worried that maybe that there's not going to be any growth, it feels like that there's this, whatever this doubt is, I feel like that there's, knowing that there's going to be growth that's coming from this thing, you know, it's going to be, it's trusting that I feel like the energies are guiding you in the right direction. That, again, that higher self has your back, but it's checking in to say, like, is this really what we want? Is this where we see growth happening? And I feel like, yeah, that to not let past situations prevent you from taking advantage of this energy here, Capricorn. If it really does seem like there's like a nervousness or something along those lines, like maybe we're wanting to change careers, or maybe we're wanting to change spaces, or whatever this is. If it's calling you, yeah, I feel like, yeah, if the energy is calling you, I feel like, yeah, try not to sit on this heat, you know, see where the energies are trying to guide you, you know, definitely I feel like it's taking a risk again, but not, you know, it's a calculated risk. So I'm not quite sure what that is, Capricorn. It's getting kind of, whatever it is, I think I'm gonna more. think I'm going to get out of this, Capricorn. But I feel that because I feel like I'm trying to force it, but there's an opportunity here, just if that's something you've been debating about for a while. Don't be afraid of seeing what else is out there, or being afraid of failing again. If anything, I feel like it's saying go for it. Because when you think about this girl here on the surfer, she wasn't born an expert. She had to train in this thing, and every now and again, I'm sure, waiting for that big wave is just going to be like, am I going to be able to do this? I've been wiping out so far. And it's just like, you won't know until you try. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't feel like opportunities will pass you by. But it's like I was saying earlier, it's just like, even though the energies move out of the sign, it's just like we want to strike while the iron's hot right now. So, try not to criticize yourself, or try to, let's see if we can maybe assuage some of those doubts or something along those lines there. But all right, let's get some tea, and then let's talk about Taurus energy. Because this is going to be another talk about expansion and stuff. This really is, I feel like, a great energy for you, Capricorn, especially over this, because you got Jupiter and then you have Uranus that's in Taurus. And I feel like, especially with Jupiter over this next year, learning about yourself, finding areas that you can grow is going to be key, because Jupiter will be in Taurus until May 25th, 2024. And Jupiter is about finding those areas if we're feeling that we want to grow in. Invest in that right now. We're thinking about long-term stuff here with Jupiter, because Jupiter is all about giving abundance and just spreading the abundance all around. But being in a slower moving sign of Taurus is not to say that opportunities aren't going to come your way, but we're playing the long game right now. And whether that be if we're feeling like, let's say, for example, considering Taurus is about security, if maybe we're thinking about, if we're not maybe getting our own place, maybe we're thinking about investing in land and learning about that, or maybe we're thinking about learning about gardening. I was just talking with someone about some food stuff. They were like, maybe talk about start buying in bulk, considering with the food prices going up and all these changes and things, or maybe, considering how Uranus is wreaking havoc with like the banks and stuff. I'm kind of talking about both of them here, but with all these changes and things, it's just like it's finding, strengthening those areas of security. And that's what when I was talking about that failure earlier, that's what it kind of felt like. It's just like we could either be, I feel like this is not a time to be afraid to fail. It's a time to really try some things out and see what's going to stick for the long term. You know what I mean? What has that staying power, that endurance. That's where I feel like, Jupiter, if we can find, and this could be too, Taurus, when we're talking about security, this could be investing in ourselves as well, getting our self-esteem, whatever, maybe doing some healing, maybe some self-care. You got with Two of Cups here. This is, again, Venus and Cancer. And however this is looking, I feel that if you invest in yourself like that, the reward is going to pay you off in the long run. Absolutely. And then with Uranus being in Taurus, Uranus is going to be in Taurus till about the 7th of July, 2025. And he's been bringing changes since 2018, from how we're working till how with all this bank stuff here, then when we're talking about the food and things, it's everything that, anything that has to deal with security, all of that stuff. Uranus is changing the game up because we are getting into a new era. We're getting into the age of Aquarius. And it's how we're working with that change, you know what I mean? And how we're adapting and being and facing this energy, or facing these changes with confidence and with vigor, you know what I mean? Getting a game plan, King of Wands, and then because you were already ahead of the game, Capricorn. You started out investing. This is Saturn and your ruler, Saturn in Taurus, but and even just thinking about that. Now that I said that, the Seven of Pentacles in the Thoth deck, this is the card of failure. And again, just like I feel like there's something here about teaching, or just like learning. If we're, let's get an oracle on this. But just so you know, Capricorn, just like the Virgo energy with forming a trine, this energy is also going to be forming a trine. Now, the Uranus one, we may need to, you've been feeling this over the last like about 5 years or so. Since about 2018, there's probably been some changes here that have been pretty easy, you know, or they seem like ways have been kind of like clearing out for you. But when you think about your Capricorn place, it's going to be forming a trine, you know, and I feel like forming a trine with Jupiter, the planet of abundance, that's a dope thing to have, or dope energy to be in. But something to keep in mind too when you think about Jupiter energy. Where Jupiter is a planet of abundance, he doesn't care what the abundance is. So it's going to be whatever energy you're bringing. If you're bringing doubt and fear and things, and that's what's going to permeate, and it's what's going to keep going is that state, because that's where we're investing our energies into. But if we can switch up the story, you know, change the dynamic, you know what I mean? The abundance changes. But let's get an oracle on this. Interesting. Okay, so you got the second card of Scorpios here, which is the olive branch card. And with this card, this is a card of truce, surrender, giving in, come to terms, suspend, lull, de-escalate, make amends, peace offering, winding down, halt, reprieve, ceasefire, treaty, and agree to disagree. And the energies that are really kind of standing out with this card, Cap, is the first one is the making amends. And I almost feel like that for some of you, it's just like if we had something that we were disappointed in how things went down, or just like with how, yeah, maybe how a situation went or something, I do feel like it's making peace with that, you know, finding a way to, how can we start letting that stuff go? Because that's very Cancerian of you to just be holding on to this stuff here, Capricorn. But when you think about the Queen of Cups, actually, that's funny that I talk about her. Because even when you think about the Queen of Cups, even when she's in reverse, she's just reflecting on it, you know, because these situations, she values everything that happens to her. Cancer is a sign of experiential wisdom. And because her going through these experiences strengthens her compassion and her empathy her compassion for herself, and then increases her empathy for others, you know what I mean, when they're going through these situations, and then she can help guide them along with this. So this is how you can really turn a failure into your advantage there, Cap. For example, you can, you know, because maybe it's not let's say if this was a business, maybe it wasn't the fact that the dream wasn't right. It was just maybe how we were going about it wasn't how it was. Maybe we weren't meant to maybe start up a business right off the bat. Maybe we're making because the fact that you started up something and maybe that it flopped, hey, that's more than most. Most people can't even get stuff started up. And a lot of people, like, we're looking into, you know, like I see, you know, you got a lot of people doing like how-tos and, you know, like on YouTube and things. And it's just like, this could be where maybe we're writing an ebook, maybe we're writing, you know, maybe doing a video as far as like your journey. It's just like, you know, 7 steps to avoid when building a business or something along those lines. Start there, keep doing your dream, but, you know, just like there may be just another way to go about it. But I feel like it's the giving in and the surrender kind of giving up are coming out too, because I feel like it's just like, when we've processed this thing and if there's nothing that we can do about that particular situation anymore in terms of reflection, because this Queen of Cups, it feels like with her being in reverse, it's almost like that we're kind of stuck in that reflective space. You know, we're still trying to find the nugget of wisdom from there. And I do feel like that you can beat a situation to death, Capricorn. And after a while, we do just have to let some things go. You know what I mean? And just allow that, because you could, you know, once you felt it enough, you know, there's sometimes it's just like, if you notice that it's just kind of, once it becomes like a spiral, the same old narrative, let's grow from that. You know what I mean? Let's just, okay, got it. Send it love and light. And now what do we do next? Come to terms with it. And then I feel like that does help you, you know, really kind of de-escalate your feelings and just kind of get everything back in balance. And then look, that's how you do a devil situation, you know, because here the thing with the devil is too, he'll kick it with you in a spiral as long as it takes. So you just like, I forgot who I did this with, but I did something similar where the devil and the Queen of Cups came up, and I was just like, hey, are you getting over your issues yet? It's just like, I'm thinking about it. Just like, okay. Yeah, the devil, he's a tricky one like that. But again, he means well. You know, it's meant for you to grow and change from this Scorpio energy. You know, it's a metamorphosis, death card energy coming through there. But, okay, let's get some. Okay, let's look at that. See? Trine energy. Just easy, just flowing out there. Look at that. We let things go and the energy just starts flowing. I'm with it. I'm with it. Because, well, I will be when we get out of our heads here, Capricorn, because you got a lot of sword energy coming through here. Got the Knight of Swords and the Three of Swords in upright, and then we got the Eight of Swords in reverse. And I like this Eight of Swords in reverse because this is getting out of our heads. You know, we can either choose to stay stuck in the fact that, again, that maybe we were disappointed by something, we were let down, whatever this is, you know, or, because here's the thing, I feel like with the Eight of Swords, this is like a self-imposed prison. But the nice thing about that is, you're the one who built the prison. So you're the one, when you're ready, you can knock that down whenever you feel like it. You know, deal with it one sword at a time, you know, especially these, Gemini cards are all kind of intense, the 8, 9, and 10 of Swords. And I feel that they're a sign of duality. The 8 of Swords, oh my goodness, this is, see, that's the Sun, that one's Mars. Oh, I'm blanking on what the 8 of Swords is at the moment. But it's one of Gemini's cards. And Gemini is a sign of duality. And we could either, like I've been saying, focus on the fact that we were hurt by something, or that maybe we've been feeling depressed about how a situation has gone down. Maybe we've been kind of wallowing in it for a while. Because I do feel like, Capricorn, there's a thing with your sign, because your ruler is Saturn, and Saturn's Saturn's a bit of a hard ass, you know, sometimes when he going about growth. And your sign is one that can be prone to depression. We got a lot, being the parents of the Zodiacs, we got a lot on our shoulders, and it's a lot to bear sometimes. But we could either, again, focus on that area, you know, and stay stuck in that, because I'm not saying we're not dealing with this, Capricorn. Again, you gotta feel this stuff and be present with it, and that's something too. Let's make sure we're not ignoring these things, you know, kind of sweeping this stuff under the rug here and just like, well, whatever, you know, we'll just settle for something else, you know what I mean? I feel that there's there's growth that can change, that can come from here. We're working towards the future, because this is Aquarius' card. He rules the Knight of Swords. He rules the first 2 decans of Aquarius and the last of your signs, Capricorn. And that's funny, Pluto's retrograding in the last few decans of your sign, or a few degrees. But I feel that when we've made peace with this situation, and maybe get to this place of where, just kind of come to terms with this thing, I feel like that's where the real growth is going to start there. You know, that's where, the expansion comes. Because, you know, the Knight of Swords, just like you, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus for them, but they understand that Saturn influence as well. And it is tough work. You know, it could feel that you're like, that you're chasing after your bike here, but it's going to be, we may have to persevere, and, you know, it's going to be worth it in the long run. Lauren? And I hope that this is making sense, Capricorn. But let's talk about your ruler. because Pisces. You got your ruler, Saturn in Pisces, and then Neptune is in Pisces. Now, your ruler went retrograde on, actually when I'm dropping this today. Yeah, your ruler went retrograde today and will be retrograde until the 4th of November. And with Saturn being retrograde, you know, this is kind of like a cosmic interrogation. It's kind of like asking you, you know, where are we at in life right now? Are we following our hearts? Are we listening to our higher selves, following our dreams here? And if not, then let's get on it. You know, this is actually a really kind of cool placement, I feel, for Saturn, because Pisces is very dreamy, very spiritual type of energy. And this is great for you, Capricorn, I feel like, to really get in touch with your intuition as well, just because Pisces is borderline psychic. So tap into this energy here. Get in touch with your spirituality, however that looks. You know, maybe we're taking a trip to the desert, or maybe we're going by a lake, or, you know, maybe you're going surfing, or however you express your energies. You know, this could be through art, through dance, through anything that just really gets you in that Zen space. The more you can tap into that and really kind of focus on where your heart is trying to guide you, I feel like the more Saturn is going to reward you in this aspect. But another thing with, the other thing with Neptune is going to be going retrograde. She heard Saturn was retrograde. She got jealous, so she started to do her retrograde dance too. Because Neptune is going to be going retrograde on the 30th of June and will be retrograde till the 6th of December. And with this energy, because Neptune is one of Pisces' rulers along with Jupiter, this is a powerful time for introspection and for self-discovery. Really connect with your inner self there, Capricorn, and hone that inner wisdom, you know? Learn from these past mistakes here. Figure out how we can turn this adversities to your advantage, you know what I mean? And I feel like once we do, like that swift action on this biker card here, things are going, I feel like, going to start picking up for you. But it's going to be something where we're going to need to get just more in touch, I feel like, with yourself over these, because Saturn stays in a sign for about 2.5, 3 years at a time. So really tune into your spirituality during this next few years, because then once we get in 2025 and he's getting into Aries, it's going to be time to take some action. And we can, not to say that we're not going to take some action now here, Cap, but then again, it's just like with the trine stuff. Things are going to really start cooking. But, well, that actually might be kind of interesting. Now that I'm thinking about that, Capricorn, that may be kind of interesting for both you and Cancer. Now that I'm thinking about it, but that's in the future. Let's focus right now. Let's see. We're in the present right now. Let's get an oracle on this. Thank you. Oh, before I forget, I almost forgot. Saturn, depending, and Neptune, again, you're going to need more your date, place, and time of birth. But depending where your Capricorn placements are at, Saturn and Neptune are going to be forming sextiles with your signs. And after trines, these are fortunate energies as well. You know, very easy flowing. But the thing is, I like to think of sextiles they're like the aces. They're potential, and you can either utilize these opportunities and energies to your advantage, you know, Ace of Wands upright, or don't, you know, in this judgment-free zone, you know. But I will say, if we decide not to, make sure that we are reflecting on why. You know what I mean? Is this a doubt thing, so that we can further that growth, so that we can get ourselves ready to take these opportunities? I actually, like, a good example would be, I had a Virgo present me with an opportunity, and at first, like, I just kind of dismissed it. And I was talking with him, I was like checking my chart, and I was just like, oh, I'm in a sextile energy right now. It's just like, and I got to thinking about that opportunity. I was just like, oh, that's going to help me grow in this aspect, this aspect, this aspect. At first I was just like, oh, I can't do any of that. I'm going to dismiss it. But they were pretty much giving me opportunity to learn all this stuff. So I was like, hell yeah, wait a minute, Virgo. So something along those lines there, Capricorn. That's how a sextile may present itself to you. But it's going to be one of those things where you got to take advantage of it, and seeing how everything is kind of flowing nicely for you, make this work to your advantage. Interesting. Oh, and I love how you're syncing up with the energies here, because you got the 9th card of Pisces, which is the cross card. And with this card, this is a card of sacrifice, down for the cause, release, let go, giving up, surrender, put others first for the greater good, dogma, heroic effort, purpose-driven, martyrdom, and heed the call. And really, Capricorn, the first thing that kind of stood out for me is the sacrifice. And I feel like that it's like, what do we want? I almost feel like it's like, what are we willing to sacrifice or to let go or things to get to our dreams, you know, to get to where we're feeling that growth is happening. It's almost like, it almost feels like that maybe we've been, I almost feel like it's been that we've been putting others first in the sense of like, we've been maybe channeling our dreams through someone else's medium or something along those lines. Like, how do I, that's interesting. It's like, for example, let's say if you've wanted to, it's like if you've wanted to like start like a restaurant, but instead of starting the restaurant, let's say you've been working then for the while, you know the ins and outs and things, but it's almost like that we've gotten comfortable just being in that environment when it's just like when you want to do a little bit more, you know what I mean? And it feels like that we're putting our energies towards, yeah, you're sharpening your skills, but it feels like that it's just like taking it to that next level. You know what I mean? If this is something that like a desire, something has been just like bubbling up or just been kind of simmering in you or something along those lines. And I feel like it's like, what are we willing to, if we're really down for this cause or this dream or this passion, this whatever, because, you know, Pisces energy, and this is what Saturn is asking you, you know, if there are any things that are preventing you from keeping this dream, whether this be self-esteem, maybe there are some kind of vices that we might be dealing with this devil card, you know, drugs, sex, alcohol, low self-esteem, gambling, whatever this is looking like. But if you really want this thing, you know, I feel like it's going to be something where it's, yeah, absolutely a heroic effort. This is going to be something where you're going to need to be, because you're the protagonist in your story, you know. And listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like being in that space, but it's just like, maybe this is something where it's interesting, Capricorn. Let me get some tarot on this. Thank you. Interesting. Okay, Capricorn. So you have the 10 of Cups, the 6 of Wands, and the Emperor in reverse. And then we have the Empress upright here. How fascinating. I feel like that with this, Capricorn, if there's something here that you want to, that you're trying to bring to this world, I feel that it feels like there's a fear here or something along those lines. Like, and I feel like that there's, like with that restaurant thing, for example, maybe this is something where we start small. Maybe we start like a food truck or something, if we're not trying to open up a big space, and just like maybe going down to part-time here and then doing something else there, and then who knows, maybe you could even make this a collaborative effort. I remember I used to work in food and beverage, and I remember working with a chef, and she, oh my gosh, she makes these donuts that are on fire. Yeah, I mean, man. And that was like her side hustle. And she would do like little pop-up shops in random bakeries and things. And that's where I feel like this energy, ooh, and I love that. The Ten of Cups here, this is Mars and Pisces. And I feel like that if we're wanting to get, if we're not feeling abundant or if we want more in life, this is about taking some action here. You got a lot of heat here with Ace of Wands, Emperor, this, and the Three of Wands is the Sun in Aries. So I feel like that it's going for that pursuit, you know, feeling like asking yourself, and I really feel like it's, because here's the thing, even when we're working towards our dream, it's going to take some work, you know, because when you look at this girl here, she's standing on stage now, you know, being a big star and whatnot, but beforehand, she had to first, you know, really maybe get her voice trained, you know, maybe learn some techniques and things along those lines, and then it's taken to that next level, going out there and hitting up maybe like little local bars or little spots and things, and then, you know, being famous within 1 mile, and then 5 miles, and then 10 miles, and you see what's happening here? Your world is growing. And with yours being a sign, you know, I feel like the perk with yours being a slow burn is that this does give you time, because that Saturn is a planet, one of the things he covers is time. This gives you an opportunity to really think about how you want to invest in yourself, because Capricorn, when you set and you know this, when you set your mind to something and you really are passionate about it, bet no one can stop you. Bet you're going to do whatever it takes. And that's where I feel like that maybe that tenacity might be missing. It might be kind of overcome by this fear right now. Maybe we're getting in our head. Maybe we're second guessing ourselves. But Capricorn, everything that has happened to you right up until this point has been shaping you to achieve, to claim your world. And we're going to talk about that next with and I'm coming at you. I'm excited because this is a great opportunity for you. This is again, you are the hero in this story, and this is about finding out what your purpose is, and then let that drive you. Invest wholly in that. Nurture that thing into existence. Queen of Cups energy. And really, because the thing too, you know, where you are hard workers and such, the thing I feel like, because Cancer is too, but I feel like the distinct difference there is that we gotta feel it. You know, it's gotta something to really put, I feel like you can really tell if a Cancer is interested in something if you pay attention to the action. If it's kind of half-assed, they're not the ones for it. But if they're really investing a lot, that's the one. And that's where I feel like it's asking, that's where your energies are at right now. I feel like this is more than just like coming from a practical standpoint. It's making practicality and passion, and merging those things into one and creating something beautiful here. Because even when you think about the Empress, she's not just sitting around the Empress is a hard worker. She rules both Taurus and Libra. And when you think about that, she's building her goals and stuff are focusing towards her security, but she's making it beautiful with that Libra energy. You know, got the foundation with Taurus, and then she's using that air energy to manifest, you know, that it's wonderful what the Empress can do. But it's something where we got to take that dream, Empress, once you got that stuff down, get that figured out there, get this mapped out with that Virgo energy, maybe do some meditation, ask those deep questions. And then when we do, we take action. Get that thing and be about it, Capricorn. I'm with it. What? Dope. Dope. That's sick. Now, let's get some tea and then let's talk about your energy. Because with Pluto being in Capricorn, especially if we're in thinking about these next steps, careers or dreams or whatever this is looking like. Pluto's going to be retrograde in your sign until the 10th of October, and then will stay in your sign until about Aquarius season. And with this energy, this is asking yourself, oh, I like this. What does success look like to you? You know, what do you need to do to feel stable, to feel that your foundation is solid, to feel accomplished? You know what I mean? And if there's anything that we need to let go, any kind of limiting beliefs or limiting behaviors, habits, things along those lines, we want to think about letting that stuff go. Because when you got both the fact that your ruler's retrograde right now, and then Pluto's retrograde in your sign as well, this is going to be, and this is not me scaring you, but we do want to pay attention to those things that are holding you back, because otherwise it's going to be tough, Capricorn. It's going to be, you'll get your abundance for sure, but it's just like, again, how much you trying to sacrifice. And I feel like that's not even just like as far as like, you know, what you want to do for your dream. It's just like, what do you want to let go as well to that's keeping you held back. Well, then this could maybe even be just how the Emperor and the Empress came up here. You know, maybe you got these dreams here, but if there's, and you keep in mind, not a gender specific reading, if you've had these dreams, Empress, and maybe there's an Emperor energy that's holding you back, and it's not, you maybe talked about these things and he's still not getting out the way, then you know what, you got to move, Emperor, because you got things to do. You know what I mean? And let them figure it out. So aggressive, Capricorn. I'm kidding. Let's get it. But, and depending on where your Capricorn placements are at, this is going to be forming a conjunction with your sign. And Pluto's going to retrograde to the last, like the 27th degree before he moves back. So, but conjunctions bring about change. So let's say, for example, if Pluto is, you know, conjuncting your sun sign, for example, is going to take on that Pluto flavor, which is going to be a lot of intense change, a lot of maybe some power struggles, just a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot, but it's going to be cathartic, and it's going to get you to your highest vibration, Capricorn. But we gotta, and this energy could get us into a place where we might be feeling a little stressed, feeling a little tense at sometimes. But once the energies do get comfortably blended, you're gonna start birthing worlds here. But let's get an oracle card. Interesting. All right, Cap, syncing up with the energies now. And funny, that's happening in your stuff here. You got one of your cards, the 5th card of Capricorn, which is the Dear John card. Oh, we actually might be breaking up with this Emperor, because this is a card of rejection, cold hard truth, breaking up, set boundaries. Oh, divorce, strained situation. It's not you, it's me. The end. Final word. Cutting cords. Something's not working. And you know, that is interesting with your, that's interesting, because for some of you, this could very well be a love thing, you know, considering that they both did pop up at the same time. And you got the 10 of Cups in reverse here. If we've noticed that a situation has become strained or that something is not feeling right, I feel like first let's maybe try to have a conversation, you know, like if this is, you know, something new. I don't feel like that there's going to be something that's coming up for you, Capricorn. Just keep that in mind. Like, no, I'm not sensing that. But this is something where if something has been brewing for a while, maybe the dynamic at home hasn't been great or whatever that's looking like, then I do feel like, yeah, we need to have, there's a discussion that may need to be had, or maybe we, whatever that's looking like. But, excuse me, if it does turn out that we might need to break up, or there may even be a divorce or something along those lines. I feel like don't think of that as a failure, you know, because relationships, however long or short, they were meant to happen for a reason. There's something there for you to learn. I just went through a divorce not too long ago, Capricorn, and you know, granted, we were lucky because like we didn't have any kind of assets or anything like that, and it really wasn't anything like there was no kind of fighting or nothing. You know, I feel like honestly we had a pretty solid marriage and a solid divorce, if I could say so. And I feel like that's something too to keep in mind, that divorces and breakups and things where yeah they can suck, but they don't need to be where, I don't feel like they need to be nasty, you know, where, and listen, I'm not saying that if there's, you know, maybe this thing was a burden, maybe there was a lot of fighting, you know, I'm not trying to absolve anyone of anything, but it's just like, we're already getting ready to part anyway. Why make this a painful part? Why stretch the energies out longer than it needs to be? You know what I mean? There are two sides to every story. And I feel like most of the time there's the painting of it is just like doom, gloom and stuff. And just like, it's doing a lot. And I feel like that it's a matter of letting that thing go, finding out what the lesson was in that, because again, this taught you what you like in a relationship, because you did love this emperor at one point in time. And this shows you too, maybe there are some things too, because you know the Empress, I know she may be upright here, but you know maybe the Empress could have done some things differently too. But I feel like it's not even a matter of blame. You know, that's something too. Like maybe if we're having a hard time, maybe kind of letting go of like how someone treated us or something along those lines. I feel like try not to put the energies on the person. You know, let's put it towards the action, where it's just like, it's like I'm not necessarily mad at you. I'm mad at how what you did. You know, that I'm mad at the action, because I know that you, Emperor, are better than that. And that's where I feel like that if we can maybe change that narrative there, that might make things a lot easier. You know what I mean, Capricorn? But I also feel that if this is not a relationship, maybe this could be something where maybe like I was talking about with that if you got that restaurant idea, maybe this is something where we need to, again, maybe you need to set some boundaries in the sense of like maybe we need to reduce our hours so that we can focus more energy towards these dreams here. Or, and you know I would never tell you to quit your job or anything like that, Capricorn. Again, keep that in mind, but I do feel like some cold, hard truths are going to be, a lot of reflection is going to be going down for you. I feel like these next, I'm going to say really honestly, like 6 months, Capricorn. It's going to be a lot. I think that is going to be for all of us, you know, for us to be processing and figuring out, you know, what are our next steps and what's the next, you know, what's that next chapter looking like. But we are in a time of letting a lot of stuff go. That's especially things that are no longer working for you, or that is straining you. But let's get some tarot on this. Okay, see what we got here. Interesting. Okay, so we have the Fool, the Six of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, the Five of Swords, and the Six of Swords upright here. And I do feel like for some of you, there probably is, this does seem like that maybe if there was a situation where, if you feel like that, you know, maybe reciprocity wasn't happening, or that there was just like a lot of conflict maybe, or something along those lines here. I feel like let's be mindful of, because something that just kind of popped in my head is that maybe some of us may be deciding to stay, or, and listen, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like if we're staying because we're afraid of maybe how others might feel like about, just if this is a relationship thing, for an example, especially if this is a marriage. Because maybe we're trying to keep the union together just because we don't want to be seen. We're afraid about what others may think about our situation, which, who cares? Like, and I know how glib that sounds, but it's just like, they're not in your marriage. You know what I mean? And their marriage doesn't affect them in the slightest, not really. You know, unless they think they're trying to get I don't know, like a piece of the pie or something like that, which even then, that warrants some follow-up questions as well. So we're a lot to unpack there, Capricorn. But I do feel like that this isn't about anyone else. This is about you and that person. And if we feel that we can't resolve these things, then it's figuring out, how do we move on? What are next steps? You know, how do we, what is that next chapter looking like? Because, you know, the Fool is after we get to the world, Saturn, you know, when a situation closes, we get to Uranus. Change, you know, and that might be something too. Maybe we have invested in like a family, you know, maybe we have like assets and things that, or you know, joint bank accounts and stuff like that. And listen, I get that that's a pain. I totally get it. But you know what is the burden of dealing with all that stuff? Because at least that stuff will have a close. Is the burden worth what we're going through right now? And I feel like that's going to be the big question that we need to ask ourselves. And, you know, do some soul searching and come up with a game plan, whatever we do. Because I'm not to say, and listen, this is not to say that we can't save this thing, but I do feel like that this is something where, hey, I'm not feeling secure in this. And this is what Cancer season is all about. If you're not feeling emotionally secure, like, or whatever, anything like any sort of security, let's communicate these things and figure out what are next steps looking like, you know, because it's not you, it's me or me. It's it's the energies. It's like, shit, you know, stuff has gone down. So, well, well, something to think about there, Cap. Because it really, and listen, it's having gone through it. One of the harder parts, I feel like the courts will give you a harder time than I feel like, let the court give you a difficult time, because they will. The paperwork and stuff is dumb. But, all right, let's get to this last energy here. Just a little insider there for you. Let's get to the last energy, because Mercury is going to be busy this season. It's going to be in Leo a little bit later, about early July. And then Venus has been in Leo for a little while. And since Venus is here, let's talk about the Empress first. Because, ladies first. Because with Venus in Leo, Venus entered Leo on the 5th of June and will be there through the 8th of October. And yeah, she's going to be there a while, because she's going to be, you know, everyone's hearing about these retrogrades that are going on. And Venus just like, shoot, okay, let me go ahead and get it on. But she'll be doing it during Leo season. But with this energy, this can really really bring out your extroverted side here, Capricorn. So really enjoy this energy. This could be something where maybe we're getting out and kind of having some fun right now. You know, maybe with all this stress and letting goes and things like that, it seems like we might need to breathe a little bit of fun here, Capricorn. But also, especially if we're going through some kind of separation, maybe between a job or whatever that's looking like. Oh, interesting. That's something. Okay, I'm going to put a bookmark in that for a second. But this can be a great energy for you as well, to focus on your self-confidence and to give yourself some self-love. Especially, I mean, come on, you got Queen of Cups and the Empress here. Absolutely. Great time for building yourself up. But with Leo energy, it can be a little over the top. I got a whole bunch of Leo in my chart, believe me. And it can possibly lead to some drama. So we do want to be mindful of that as well, you know, because Venus deals with like our relationships, finances, any kind of like security along those lines. So just something to be mindful of there. But also, Mercury will enter Leo on the 11th of June and will be there through the 11th of July and be there through the 28th of July. And with this, communication becomes a little more straightforward. You know, with Leo energy, they're very bold, assertive. They're ruled by the sun. So it's like, how can it not shine? It's like, look at me. But this also is great for just welcoming, because again, with all this tough energy that's kind of coming through here, possibly if any of this is resonating with you, this could be a time, to surround yourself with some, like, maybe hit up a friend, to maybe hit up an empress or someone who can get you laughing or get some jokes and things, because it's very fun energy. But also, this is great for if we have any kind of passions, and this is what Saturn wants for you. If we've been wanting to put ourselves out there, as far as just like pursuing things and whatnot, great energy for that. Be thinking of, because Leo energy is very creative. So this allows you, again, to just like tap into, think outside of the box. How we're talking about with the restaurant. Maybe we're starting like a food truck first, or maybe we're doing like how I was saying old girl was doing, starting up and maybe doing like pop-up shops and other little restaurants and things. Play around the field, get creative, see what kind of value you can bring, because you got skills there, Cap. So be thinking about that. But back to this, I was just thinking about this as well. With that Cross and Dear John card, maybe there were some of us that have been, maybe they've just been let go, because it's been, we're in an interesting energy right now, and I feel like that we're, yes, losing jobs and things is never great. But the thing is, this does give you a chance for a new opportunity. And I know, jumping into the unknown is scary, as far as like, what does this next chapter look like? That can be very stressful, but it can be one where you can really show yourself how you can rise above in these situations, and show up and show out, and really show others how you empress, how you can take, when you think about tower energy, because Mars is ruled, or Aries is ruled by Mars, you can show how you can take, again, these adversities and turn them into your advantage, make the energies work for you here. But let's get an oracle on this. All right, let's see what you got here, Cap. Interesting. Speaking of Aries, you got the second card of Aries here, which is the Eclipse card. And with this card, this is a card of union of opposites: conceal, event, mask, upstage, merge, transform, camouflage, hide, overshadow, loss of power, temporary block, support, sudden darkness, and reveal. And I do feel like that with this energy, Capricorn, this can be a time for you of really great change for you. Because maybe it has been where you've been in areas where it's been, maybe as of late, there have been a lot of blocks, or it seems like, you just seem to go like one step forward and, 3 steps back. But again, I feel like that when you go through these situations, it's to keep that tenacity, because it's shaping you it's really strengthening into. You're so strong, I can hardly get it out there. It's strengthening you to jump at these opportunities that are coming towards you, because the energies are really ripe for you. I feel like they're going to be coming up over these next couple of, especially Cancer season, just with how the, just aspect wise, and even how the cards are laying out here. Union of opposites. Love it. That just dawned on me there. Talk about that, because again, Cancer is your opposite sign. So there's something here. If we got some decisions to make here, Capricorn, is what I feel like that's going down here. And it's just like there's going to be a lot of, I feel like who you think you're meant to be, I feel like, or something along those lines. I feel like a mask is going to be like, I feel like that's just maybe what you thought it was supposed to go down, or maybe what someone has told you. But I feel like that something is about to be revealed to you soon, but it's going to be something where we're going to need to go within. Let's get some tarot on that. It could be, because when that eclipse happened, back in Aries, that's funny when that eclipse happened, that was that happened in our sign, the sign that forms a square with your sign. And this, I feel like, up until this next eclipse, you know, next eclipse season. Be really thinking about where you want to grow. But hold on, let me get some tarot on this. All right, last little bit here. Nice. Nice. Oh, come on. Come on, that's what I'm talking about, Cap. Hold on, let's switch back over. No, that's fine. Hold on, I've been banging on this table. The camera keeps moving. Because Capricorn, you got the Sun, the Ten of Pentacles. Let me show abundance. I got abundance in my hand here. Because you got the Sun and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse here. But we have the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles upright here. And I feel like this energy has been asking you, this is a time. Because come on, you got your happy family. You got your happy home, your legacy. You just got your happiness, period. Win, triumph. It's literally planting those seeds, asking yourself, where do you want to be stronger in? Where do you want to feel more secure? And then seriously investing in that. Seven of Pentacles. Investing in that wholly, because you got so much freaking abundance here. That's kind of unreal. That's fantastic. This is what I was talking about. And it's going to be something where, yeah, this stuff is in reverse right now. It's just because we need to take some action towards some things. You know, this is going to be the energies. It's because with abundance, it's one thing to just like, to say that the energies are just around you, you know, but we got to figure out how to we got to take some action on this stuff here. You know, what would make you happy? What would make you feel fulfilled? Shine some sunlight on this stuff here. Reflect on these things, these questions, these fears, these doubts and stuff, and figure out how we can, what steps we can do to get towards that thing. You know, maybe write out a vision board, make a list, whatever that's looking like. You know, I've been honestly thinking about doing the same thing. I got some stuff that I need to get in order. So it's just like, you know, the energies are hot right now, and it's going to be a lot, I mean, just mad abundance and mad opportunities, but we got to seize that stuff here. Pay attention to those things. You know, for example, you know, I was, there's a lot of energy going around as far as like community and stuff for like, this was like a few weeks back, and one of another reader has been showing me some just incredible love on my other channel there. And so I've been making it a point to, yeah, just like reciprocity. She's been sharing my stuff and things like that, so I'm doing the same. You know, it's just like we're all a team here, you know what I mean? We're all trying to get towards this 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles here. And you know what? It's not a competition. You know, like, she has way more subscribers than I do. And the fact that she shows me that kind of love is brilliant. And I say, and this is where I feel like we're at, Capricorn. We're in a time of co-creation, of collaboration, whatever that like, however that's looking. And that's what Aquarius is about. It's about the Pluto being Aquarius. We're networking like crazy. You know, it's going to be something, because we're all getting innovative. And I think it's time to see Capricorn. It's time to start to get some stuff. Because even think about that. The potential's here. The potential's always with you, Capricorn. You are the achievers. So where you want to pour that energy into, that's the only question you need to ask yourself, and then go for it. Go for it with gusto, because it's going to be, you're going to win. You're going to win. It literally is doing it. And I know how that sounds. Like, how do you know? Because it's just, Capricorn energy is no joke. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't get, I feel like you don't become Capricorn for no reason. You know what I mean? And not meant to do something great and big, but whatever that looks like for you. You know what I mean? That's another thing. I'm not saying that you have to do something world changing, but you're going to, because you focusing on your happiness, even if you're not indirectly affecting or you're not directly affecting someone, someone's going to see you achieving and think, man, look at that emperor. I want to be just like Capricorn. And that, look at that. You've already inspired. That's co-creation right there. And that's brilliant. You're spreading sunshine all over the place, Capricorn. I'm going to leave that there. That's fantastic. I'm with it. So, if you like that, Capricorn, give it a thumbs up and share this. You know, because you're going to do something brilliant. It really doesn't matter what it's looking like. You're going to do it, and you're going to do it well. So just remember, just like it's that passion. But and then subscribe, hit that bell button, and tell all these emperors, subscribe, hit that bell button to get notified when all these videos each week. And then I'm on this, and you know, maybe some to help you get in touch with your spirituality more. I'm on this meditation app, Insight Timer. And I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just, and that's funny, speaking of Zodiacs, King of Pentacles is Virgo energy. You know, I was talking about that Mars. But the group is for posting like positive affirmations, encouraging messages, and definitely as it grows, definitely want to start like scheduling different meditations, you know, like self-care with the Empress, or getting over addictions with the devil, or, you know, maybe new opportunities with the Fool. You know, we're still working out the kinks there, but definitely check that out, Capricorn. And then lastly, I mean, you got Queen of Cups that was popping out there right out of the mix. You got a hot card to come over to my other channel, other channel. Not that you need one, but if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card here, so I can get you out of here, get you thinking about what you want to cook up there, Capricorn, because you are in an imaginative space right now with your ruler being in Pisces, because the Page of Cups is, you get the Page of Cups up right here. And the Page of Cups gives me very Piscean vibes, where he's just like, he has, I mean, look at him. He's sitting up here and his feet are coming out the top of the card here. He's an interesting little thinker. But it's a great time to do to really, again, be a nonconformist. Think outside of the box, you know, think outside of the card. You know, why, I mean, you know, why not? You know, they say when pigs fly, well, you got a pig flying here. Let's get it done. Let me get your Oracle card. But you really are in a creative energy right now, Capricorn. Really be thinking about that in a very intuitive space as well. In these next few years, utilize that to your advantage. Absolutely. Ooh, I like this card because you got the Serpent in reverse here, and that's because we just planted that seed, Capricorn. And the Serpent card, this is tapping into some this is getting into that like Kundalini energy. This is like really tapping into like some old wild magic. You know, I've heard the description of this card is, the description of this card is fantastic. But this is really getting in touch with that energy, Capricorn. Learning who you really are, what you can really bring, the potential that you have, and making that potential manifest. You know what I mean? Really going out there and putting in that work. But I feel like it's just finding that passion. So I'm gonna leave that there. Where we at? Oh yeah, I'm keeping you along here. So you stay safe out there. All these dreams and stuff. I'm with it. Yeah, I know what you cooking up, Capricorn, but it's gonna be hot. And you raise your vibration through the roof, especially if we're going through any sort of like separations, or maybe had like a job thing that we had like a layoff or things along those lines. You know, in the meantime, you know, use this energy to your advantage. You know, where you may have gotten let go, but maybe we can get some kind of assistance. You know, some additional resources, and maybe we may not even have to go back to work. Maybe you can just focus solely on what you're doing. So, something to think about there. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.